Okay, this is a fill-in battle, but I'm hitting play on what could very possibly be the worst battle of all time. So, because I had a forfeit last week, I was hanging out with Ian at our friend's house, and I was like, hey, bring your DS, we're gonna battle. And it doesn't matter because we don't play each other ever. So, we battle with two teams that are not. So I lead with Greninja. I don't remember why. I think because I had U-turn on it, but I don't know if I actually have U-turn on it. I don't remember. So he switches out immediately, seeing the bad switch it was, and goes into his ugly Chansey, which is great against Greninja because I can't do anything. And I switch out and go to Celesteela because I'm anticipating either Seismic Toss or Toxic, Toxic. He goes for Stealth Rock, which never really matters that much against my team. I don't worry about Stealth Rock. I go for Automatize for whatever reason. I think because this was a sweeper one. And he used Thunder Wave, which is a pain in the ass. So, I'm basically useless at this point because my Automatize didn't do anything, and he goes into Coltrane, baby, which I use Heavy Slam, good neutral move. See my week 11 battle for me to really talk about the importance of Heavy Slam. He goes for Volt Switch, which kind of helps my case here because I'm running my favorite set, which is Weakness Policy Celesteela, and I know it can take, I think the minimum it needs to kill a Celesteela with one hit is something like Modest Raikou wearing specs using Thunderbolt. So he goes into Tikal or Tickle. I'm paralyzed, doesn't matter. He goes for Reflect to counteract my weakness policy. I'm paralyzed again, so his bad luck is rubbing off on me apparently. He goes for Light Screen in case I'm running a special Celesteela, which I very rarely do. I go for Automatize again because, hey, why not? At this point, he's got both screens up, and I've got +2 attack, special attack, and I go for the Acrobatics because I don't have a weakness policy. It does about half. He goes for U-turn, which does so little damage I may as well give me health back. He goes into No Homo O, best nickname, worst Pokemon. Uses Belly Drum. I know this set. I love this set. This is my favorite Como set. I'm paralyzed again. I would have been able to kill it with Acrobatics. He goes for Drain Punch, which is going to kill me, obviously, at +6. And he gets a critical hit. That doesn't matter. It would have killed me regardless. Gets close up to full health. And this is where I use my knowledge of dragons in the past. And I go into Chief Beef, thinking about her stand against that horrible, horrible Salamence, and how a +6 Salamence scares me a lot, or a +4 Salamence scares me more than +6 Como. Goes for Drain Punch. Yeah, it doesn't do enough. And I'm running Whirlwind this week, so goodbye Belly Drum Como. Not a big loss because it's close to full health, so it'll be able to Belly Drum back up, and it hasn't used its Salic Berry yet. And good old Tickle comes out again. I don't really know what Mesprit runs, so it uses U-turn, which is gonna mean it takes more damage than it gives me, and I do what I love to do with Hippowdon, which is slack off once Leviathan comes out. So I go for the slack off. It's probably my favorite move in Pokemon because I like the mental imagery of this really intense battle, and your Hippo is just sitting there like, nah man, I don't want to do anything. So I slack off, I get back to full health, basically. I switch out, go into McDonald's, who can take anything from Superior pretty handily. We were talking about this earlier today. Superior stats are not good until it's boosted up. So he is running a subset. I prefer sub-superior to most things. And his screens are starting to wear off, which is really important. So he goes for a Leaf Storm to get himself up to +2. And I know that Hidden Power Fire is coming out after this. It almost always does. So I go for the Ice Beam. And I'm going to go ahead and break the sub. And I'm not worried because even at +2, Hidden Power Fire is just not that strong of a move. And I think this was a bulkier Magearna. I was probably running maximum HP. And Light Screen is worn off at this point. So he uses the Hidden Power Fire. Takes me close, doesn't take me down. And McDonald's goes ahead and gets that kill with Ice Beam. So, let me just check that I'm recording. Okay, yeah, it's good. It's going to be low quality. I looked over and my microphone is unplugged, so it's using the internal mics on my laptop, which means it's going to sound like I'm talking into a tin can, but I could do the rest of it like an old-timey radio announcer, so I will.
It goes out to the rotten egg, Chansey. We know McDonald's isn't going to be able to do much. Please switch out. Get out of there, McDonald's. In comes the cheap beef, ready to take on anything the Chansey can throw at it, knowing that it's got Thunder Wave over Toxic, so it won't be able to status me. And that Seismic Toss will never do more damage than it'll be able to heal off the slack. So the Seismic Toss comes down, the Earth Shatter and Seismic Toss. That's Rotten Egg and...
Ugh, I'm out of breath. I was plugging my nose to do that. Rotten Egg goes out. Ian knows, like I said, it's not going to be able to do anything to Hippodon. I know that too. I use it to slack off, my favorite move. No Homo comes back out, and we are right back where we started earlier with this. So, Chief Beef takes a Drain Punch. This time he doesn't bother to go for the Belly Drum. Just Drain Punches and does about 1/8 of my health, which means he gets a decent amount back. But it's hurt more by the Rocky Helmet. I go for Earthquake. Bada bing, bada boom. Takes him down. One more Earthquake will take him out, even after the Drain Punch because of Rocky Helmet and Sandstorm. So he goes ahead and withdraws. Switches into Tickle, who takes the hit well, obviously. And I use Stealth Rock. I know he's going to switch at that point. And I get those up just to deter any switching that's going to happen. Healing Wishes, that's what I figured Mesprit always does. And I guess that if this were a real battle, I think that would count as a kill for Chief Beef, maybe? I don't know how that works. And I knew No Homo was coming out. The Whirlwind was just to mess up his momentum and kind of disrupt what's happening. Which I did. It worked week 9 as well. So, No Homo gets the full healing. Switches out to Coltrane Baby. I think at this point I just went for a raw Earthquake. I did. I had no reason not to. I was at pretty high health. And rocks were already up. I didn't have to switch Como out. So I just went for raw Earthquake, knowing that I could take any hit from it, even after a Belly Drum. And No Homo comes out. It was around one of these points we realized this was not going to be a very good fight. Actually, to this point, it's still pretty okay. It's an alright fight. Good things are happening for me. Not too hacksy, except for my paralysis. But, oh well. Goes ahead, gets No Homo down in the Salic Berry range, so now it's at full health, or full attack. Salic Berry is going to get a lot of health back with Drain Punch, but not enough back to matter and to stop me from whirlwinding it out. Now, at the point where it's under half health, it does not have its Salic Berry anymore, so really that was a death blow, you could say. In comes the Rotten Egg, which is a free slack off for Chief Beef. So he pulls Rotten Egg back out, goes into Wilford Brimley, the diabetes of Pokemon. Oh, I don't slack off there? That was stupid. Should have slacked off. Went into McDonald's for whatever reason. Oh, I remember why I went into McDonald's here. Okay, it's been a while since I looked at this match, and since it wasn't like a real battle, I didn't plan ahead for anything. I was running all-out pummeling on this, which I was just going to use to get some chip damage off on Chansey, and then sack Magearna, basically. So, Mag goes ahead, pops out, all-out pummels the Snorlax. It's only off of Aura Sphere, not off of Focus Blast. And I think I'm running Timid this week anyway. So it does pretty solid damage, but I think Focus Blast probably would have killed. I don't know. And he goes ahead and goes for the Earthquake. I was wondering if he would do that or Curse Up or something. But yeah, he goes ahead, gets the kill. Easy kill, easy sack for me. And then I go into the God of all gods, the Lord in heaven, Ouch My Tail, who, because Snorlax doesn't generally carry a lot of statusing moves outside of maybe Toxic, I'm not worried about Ouch My Tail, and it's able to take any physical hit just about as well as Hippowdon does. It technically has 2 points less in defense. So, the problem with this is I was running a really stupid set on this Slowbro. So instead of Toxic, I was running Thunder Wave, which doesn't really matter against the Snorlax that much. And then I had Future Sight and Scald, and that was of course from my battle the week before, which would help to maintain momentum with stuff, but Future Sight's not a great move against Snorlax and Chansey. So, this is where the battle starts to get ugly. We have 4 fat Pokemon just sitting here and, I don't know, bragging about how fat they are to each other. Like, Snorlax is sitting here, he's like, I'm the fattest! And Hippowdon is like, no, I'm the fattest! And Chansey's actually the fattest, but she's too modest to say anything about it. And Slowbro is like, huh, when did the battle start? He doesn't actually know he's out here battling. I don't know what he thinks he's doing. So Slowbro's aware the battle starts now, and he starts throwing off Scalds, which do just enough damage to not matter at all. Wilford slams me with his body and does get the paralysis, so in the battle that doesn't matter, Ian finally gets all the hacks going his way. And the Rocky Helmet lets him take it down, but I know that especially after paralysis, I'm not going to be able to hit first, and I'm not going to be able to hit him with Scald anyway and kill him, so he goes ahead and goes for rest. And this is when we're looking at each other and we're, you know, like 2 good pals. We're sharing a pizza and we're laughing and laughing. Our girlfriends are sitting there like, what are these crazy boys talking about? And, you know, we're having a good time, and our friend's baby is already asleep, but we're still watching the Wiggles because that's just quality programming, you know. They've been on television for a while, and even though Anthony is surprisingly the only Wiggle of the original bunch left, he's the one I least thought was important. I don't know. That's the Wiggles. So Thunder Punch doesn't do very much to Ouch My Tail, because I knew it wouldn't, because Kyurem does about half with Fusion Bolt, and this is like a weaker Kyurem using a weaker Fusion Bolt. And he's able to go down by proxy because of the Rocky Helmet. And I use this opportunity to slack off. Again, my favorite move in the game. Makes a lot more sense for the dopey looking Seal Boy than for the aggressive looking Queen Hippo. Rotten Egg comes out. Goes for Soft Boil. This is really where we're like, okay. This battle is actually over, even though it lasts for another 5 minutes or so. I used Future Sight because I forgot that I had already used Future Sight. And it does no damage, so it doesn't matter anyway. So what's important about this is I've won the battle already. It's over. It's just going to take a really long time to get there. I get the burn, it's cool. He's running Natural Cure Chansey. He's not using Serene Grace Choice Specs Chansey like I want him to. So with Rocky Helmet and with Slack Off and Regenerator, especially Slack Off on 2 different bulky Pokemon, both using Rocky Helmets, I'm pretty sure, I'll beat Chansey eventually. I'll either stall it out of Seismic Tosses or I'll stall it out of Soft Boileds, and something will happen where it goes down. But at this point we had decided just call it over. It's done. We're not going to torture everyone and make them sit through this. In the end, I do make a fun switch. What's also important here is if any of my 2 physical walls had gone down, I did bring Cloyster with me this week, who after a Shell Smash would be able to bust through both of these walls. Even Thick Fat Snorlax, I'm carrying Liquidation specifically for Steel types, so that they don't resist it. So I'd be able to kill it with 1 or 2 Liquidations after a Shell Smash, and with my enormous defense, it obviously couldn't do very much to me. So, why did I use Future Sight like a moron? So I did have a win con in the back that I ended up not needing. So the battle wasn't just we got tired. I did have a legitimate win condition in the back, and that's important for me to know. So it goes for the Scald, and we just got 2 fat boys arguing about who's the fatter boy of the fat boys again. The Slowbro doesn't even notice that the Snorlax is asleep, so he's just talking to him, and Snorlax actually has his eyes like painted open like a cartoon from the 90s. He's pretending to be asleep in class. And he's like, so, yeah, Snorlax takes Future Sight, doesn't really matter. Obviously, he's not as fat as Chansey, but he does a lot more damage than Chansey. And it really is funny how Ian talks about how Chansey and Snorlax are redundant, because Chansey and Snorlax are so redundant. Snorlax is just strong Chansey, and Chansey's just fat Snorlax. I think at this point, I tell him to let me switch out into, or after this, I do go ahead and I switch out into Cloyster so that, I don't know, I don't have a good reason why. I was like, oh, let me get the kill with Cloyster, and he's like, that's okay, fine. So at some point, Cloyster switches out. I think it's after this because he gets his leftovers negated from the burn. Yeah, again, this is the worst battle of all time. It's something that would really happen to me and Ian somehow. So I go into Night King, my Cloyster. If you haven't noticed that my recent pickups, I've been using Game of Thrones names because they're fun. He's the Night King because he's covered in spikes and uses an Icicle Spear. And is really good at taking down dragons. So it's the Night King. So yeah, I go ahead and I go for Liquidation, which is... Remember when, like, Aqua Tail was the best physical water move, or Waterfall? I'm so happy for Liquidation. So I beat Ian in the worst match of all time. Surprisingly, all the hacks went his way, and I still beat him because I just had the fatter Pokemon, and really what matters in the end is your body mass index. I'm well above obese for my team, and so I win all the matches ever because of the obesity. I will eventually lose the final match against a player called Life when Wilford Brimley comes and haunts me, and I either die of type 1 diabetes or the heart disease that runs rampant in my family.